Well, we went to war over the weekend, but the president is more concerned about the furnishings of the White House today.
See that nice drape? When that comes down right now, you see a very, very deep hole. But in about a year and a half from now, you're going to see a very, very beautiful building. And there's your entrance to it right there. In fact, it looks so nice, I think I'll save money on the doors because it can't get more beautiful than that.
I'd like to say that I'm shocked, surprised, appalled. But no, when I saw this at the end of my school day, I think I wrote to you, that tracks. Of course he is. At least he's not like humping the flag, because I don't like to see that. But yeah, I'm glad that he is giving us a tour of the interiors of, where was he, in the White House? Cool. Thanks, dude. Or was he at Mar-a-Lago still? Is he back at the White House?
Honestly, I'm pretty sure he was back at the White House. That is
Oh,
looking more
cool.
like Mar-a-Lago or
Right.
one of Steen Mansions day for day. I can't really tell. But no, as far as I know, they were not still in the blanket fort that they set up in Mar-a-Lago that they decided to launch a war out of without congressional approval the other day.
Yeah.
Watching him say that just kind of freaks me out because this is a man that is sundowning. We're in the middle of a World War III has begun, and that's what
Yeah.
he's concerned about today. It's maddening.
Yeah, and then I caught something last night. It's all like a blur. Like, I think last night I saw that the press pool, yeah, he did return to the White House because the press pool was out there asking him to, if he wanted to explain what's going on, because he's yet to make an official statement to the American people about the war aims, which we'll talk about next. And I think he was admiring some statues of founding fathers in the dark so no one could see them in the spot that was once Jackie O's rose garden. Now it's a paved over what, patio, founding fathers. Let me guess, is Charlie Kirk there? Because I wouldn't be surprised.
Well,
uh
off topic, I'm sure you saw this week. The Department of Education dropped a banner of Charlie Kirk, who is a college dropout.
yeah.
What do you feel as a teacher seeing
Oh,
that?
I mean, again, what's sad is that I want to be more surprised. But first of all, there's three banners. There's one of Catherine Beecher, who was a proponent of education, but she was also against women's right to vote. Then there was Booker T. Washington, a great civil rights leader, although he's known for emphasizing vocational training and encourage Black people to focus on their economic status and wait for white folk to invite them in. So that's interesting that they chose him. B.E.B. Du Bois, who was his contemporary, criticized Booker T. Washington for being too kowtowing to the whites. And then we have Charlie Kirk, someone who, like, what?
He went to college campuses and bullied students. And now this man's face is on the building of the Department of Education.
Yeah, I
Every
was going to
day,
say,
weirder and weirder. We become more like Russia or North Korea every single day. And these
I've-
banners just show that to me. But
yeah.
it's kind of scary, as much as we're laughing right now, that we have entered a definite war.
Uh-huh. With no end game, right? With no
Right.
goals. I mean, Iraq war, there was a goal to depose Saddam Hussein, but then I guess I don't know, right? That was the goal there. But then remember what happened. It was decade of a civil war between the Shia and Sunni. So that regime change didn't work. And this one feels very similar. We are two people who grew up in the past several decades, and I don't think I can recall one time when us going in and toppling a leader and encouraging the people to rise up has.
No, we don't know why this is happening, sincerely. They haven't given us a reason. They haven't given us a timeline of how long this is supposed to take. The only thing that we know is that they've decided to do this on behalf of Israel.
Right. And Israel I read something where Israel has been asking American presidents to do this for a long time, and they finally got their man, Donald Trump, who agreed to it. Now, remember, I don't know if you guys remember this. I do, because this man is in a prison here in Brooklyn, New York. The former leader of Venezuela, Maduro, he was taken out about a month ago, or was it 2 months? I can't keep track. And that was an attempt at regime change, right? Like, when was that? I forget. But like, remember,
Three-
when was it?
I think 3 weeks ago.
It was 3 weeks ago. It's not funny. Remember that, did they create a whole new government because they were dissatisfied with the way Maduro was running Venezuela? No. They just put they allowed for the second in command, this woman Desi, to take over. So do we not think that an 87-year-old leader, that the Iranian regime didn't have a plan already about who would replace him? And does it seem like Secretary of War Pete Hegseth or any of Trump's people have any sort of knowledge of the region or a plan? Does it seem like that?
No, it doesn't seem like it at all. They're just college kids having fun with toys that are guns and bombs and drones, and they just don't know what they're doing. And that creates a really scary situation for all of us when people are just hitting bombs all over the place. I mean, Iran is being quite calculated in the moves that they are making. They hit the Dubai airport. They hit an Amazon facility. They
Oh,
hit
wow.
things that are they hit an oil facility or something in Saudi Arabia. There's a
Damn.
lot going on, but they're being very calculated in the moves that they're making. And I don't think that the US military and Pete Hegseth, with all of his experience at Fox News, really understands what is coming next from all of this.
No.
Not true.
Yeah, and the whole thing is that, listen, I understand that that leader that they took out and that regime was repressive and awful to the people there, but two things can exist at the same time, right?
Right.
In the long run, I worry that without a plan in place, someone also awful can take over the country, because it just doesn't seem like the Trump administration cared about the Venezuelan people. It doesn't really seem like they care about the Iranian people, because they sure as hell don't care about the American people, right?
No, they don't. And an interesting thing that I was seeing all over threads today was, I'm sure, I don't know if they were all bots or MAGA men, but men saying that we are doing this to free the Iranian women. And I just find it so hypocritical to hear this coming from people who don't think that you or I should have rights,
No.
or the fact that a convicted rapist and pedophile would be doing anything to help
For
women
women.
to any capacity in any country. And while you're like in the same breath, do they even realize that he bombed a girls' school?
Yeah.
I
I
can't
yeah.
get my brain around all of this and the cognitive dissonance that goes on with these people. But we're in a whole lot of shit now. And
Yeah.
I really think that one of our other enemies is going to take advantage of all of our war toys being somewhere else, everybody being distracted by the
Yeah.
Epstein files and this new war that they decided to unconstitutionally start over the weekend from his Roach Motel in Florida. I think that this is like opening us up wide to a lot of really bad, scary things.
Yeah, and our American service members, right? I mean,
It's like
again,
a lot
yes,
of countless already.
they make the ultimate sacrifice signing up to protect our country and protect people across the globe. And it's really scary to know that that Trump is their commander in chief.
Yeah.
And I really feel for the family members and friends of these people who many people who serve do it because it helps them get through college, it helps them with career training, and also they do it because they're being patriotic. They want to be of service. That's why they're called service members. And they're putting them in harm's way. Let's talk about if the president had the power to do this, right?
Right.
So, on the one hand, MAGA saying this isn't a war. On the other hand, if you would have watched him on True Social when this all went down, he called it a war. And he said that there was going to be sacrifice, right? There was
Yep.
going to be death among service members. Here's the deal. There's no proof that the American people were under threat from Iran.
Right.
And the president does not have the power to do a preemptive strike unless he can prove it. Now, the Iraq war was a preemptive strike. Bush made the case based on false intelligence that they were building weapons of mass destruction, and they had gotten their hands on uranium, which is the first sign of the beginning of a nuclear program. So Bush basically said famously, like, we can't, it's a mushroom cloud if we let this happen. So we need to prevent that, right? We then learned later that this was all false intelligence. They had never gotten uranium from Niger. And we went there under false pretenses. Did he have weapons of mass destruction? Probably, but they were not aimed at the U.S. the way they were making it seem. And now with Iran,
This last week either.
yeah, no, but what's crazy is like he didn't even come. Trump and the Trump administration disrespects the American people and the international community so much that they didn't even try to pretend there was a reason
No. No, they changed the Department of Defense to the Department of War. You know, Pete Hegseth is very proud about calling himself the Secretary of War. This is what they wanted. I think there is a lot of other reasons why this is happening as well. I think this is a big distraction from what's going on in our country, in our
Yeah.
government, with our president. I think that Republicans are extremely concerned about the midterm elections coming up. I don't care who says otherwise.
Yep.
Trump has said, I watched several videos of him this week, but one that comes to mind specifically is him with Zelensky. And he says, we can pause midterm elections in a
Yeah.
time of war. And I
Oh,
don't think that there's any such thing as coincidences. I
no.
think that all of this is extremely calculated. And regardless of what propaganda the Department of War is putting out, we started this and we were the ones that pulled the
Yeah.
trigger.
We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it.
And so I don't know where we go from here, but buckle up because every day it gets more interesting.
Yeah. It's like, do you see my face? I just don't even know. I just don't even know anymore. Can't predict it, but we know it's going to be some scary stuff. Yeah, I will be here next week. Last week we couldn't have told. I mean, the psychics were saying there was going to be a war, but we're not doing psychic reports. Maybe we should just do psychic reports.
Olympics, World War III. Like
Yeah,
we're on a
literally.
really good trajectory. Like you have to keep up, pay attention.
We're trying to pay attention for you, but like, yeah. So see you next week.
Hopefully.